Jeremy, and I live in Collingwood, Ontario.
All right.
Okay, Hillary's coming in.
Yep.
There.
Okay. Hillary is joining us from Britain. I'm in Wisconsin.
I'm in Michigan.
I'm in
Okay.
Ohio.
I'm in central Ohio, where it's now storming very heavily.
Oh,
Ooh,
What's
not
the
here,
big deal?
please.
Well, you're lucky. We're getting it pretty good.
Yeah, you're always getting the worst of it.
Here's the host now. Okay. Hi, Hillary.
Where's Hillary? I don't see her.
Right
Oh,
there.
there's.
Totally. Hey.
Hey.
Hi. Hi. I was told somebody that we'd cancelled, and now I'm just trying to tell them that we will answer their questions.
I'm here. I'm the one you told we canceled.
Oh, fine, great, that's okay. No problem. I won't need to tell you then.
No.
Right. Okay. Fine. Just one of those technical hiccups that you get. Right. So,
Yeah.
right. Let's go to the where you asked all those questions, and let's see if we can answer some of those questions for you. At least.
Oh yeah, I had a ton. It's as soon as I start working on a different section of my tree, I end up with like a ton of questions.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll share the page with it where you put the questions, and then we can all of us hosts can actually
Yeah.
Where are we now? Get the right screen. Yeah.
Well, what part of the world are some of these questions?
Well, I've been looking at primary sources out of the Bavarian and Bavaria.
Oh, Germany. Okay.
So
What I'm working
then some of the people there, I have one part of the family, like I think I have like one source for each person. So that gets a little like nail biting. I feel like I'm conjecturing a lot. So that part of it. And then I have a lot of Canadian ancestry, but that's been mostly researched. So I haven't had to do a lot with it so far. I've done a few things, but and then the United States, of course, and a lot of my family's from Minnesota, or they branched out from Minnesota to Illinois and Indiana, Nebraska.
What is your WikiTree ID?
Rita Lawrence 168.
Okay, so the spelling 168.
And Lawrence is spelled Laurance.
Yes, Laurance.
A-N-C-E. A-N-C-E is an and.
Okay, there
And
you
what
are.
part of-
And then I do have a pedigree chart for you. Okay, so I can see all your ancestors now, which amazingly, you're all fleshed out to the second great grandparents. So that's good.
Yeah, I've been kind of burning out on it.
Like I don't
It is
even have a branch on my grandfather's side.
And you were asking about reaching out to a mentor and saying there wasn't anybody in that particular area that you wanted to research. Unfortunately, you know, not everywhere is covered by the mentor.
Yeah.
Thing.
What I
Yeah.
did instead is I joined Project Germany, and then I'm trying to join Project Canada and do the trails because I haven't done the trails, and I think that might really help me.
I mean, you mentioned. Did you? I think you mentioned about the orphan. I mean, the original orphan trail was an England project thing, which obviously is not going to help you if you haven't got English research.
No, I emailed the French orphan trail about it, but I haven't heard back from them.
Yeah.
Oops.
So a lot of the.
Yeah.
Rita, what part of Canada?
Where we have a question.
Quebec. So if you follow the Lawrences, you'll get all the way back to 1645 Quebec, and so that's pretty fun. My dad did that research, and he actually I can't really travel. But my dad, he went to Quebec and my sister went there and they went to churches and they went to places, cemeteries and places that they could actually see the records and look at the church records. So I have my family has boxes of documents that I haven't been able to access yet because my siblings have them. So I'm trying to pressure my siblings into giving me these boxes of documents because that would be fun too.
Yeah, I'm seeing that if I click on a first great grandparent, Moses or Mosa,
Yeah.
then
it-
I suddenly have like another pedigree chart that's all filled out to his second great grandparents.
Yeah, my
So
dad
there's
and my
yeah,
sisters, my two sisters did a lot of work and my dad did a whole lot. So you will see stuff from Neil Lawrence. He passed away in 2019 and you'll see
sorry.
emails. He emailed all kind of genealogists. So they posted his emails.
Okay, so yeah, he was working on Quebec and there's also Ontario overlap and Canada West, certain
Yeah, Hastings, yeah.
or Canada. Yeah, so we got St. Sulpice, Berthierville, Yamachike,
Yeah,
Beauport. You got people from all over.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're travelers. My
Yeah.
my grandfather left my grandmother. I guess she said they moved from Hastings because they had trouble getting their produce to market and the land was poor. So then they moved to Minnesota where the land was pretty inexpensive and the land in Minnesota farmland was very fertile. So they suddenly did very well there.
Steve, did you want to share in what you've got or not?
What I have on my screen?
Yeah.
I can.
Screen.
Yeah, I guess.
Murray had Murray
Yeah, I'm already
had
going.
his hand up. Murray.
I only wanted to ask what part of Quebec, and now I'm looking at the profile history and seeing seeing how we might be connected, which is distantly.
Yeah, I know all my cousins so far are from France or French Canada. I have one German cousin, and I have so many German ancestors,
Yeah,
but
the German connections are still needing to be filled in. I mean, I'd like to communicate. I'd like to find more German connection cousins.
yeah,
But I end up finding a lot that are just connected to English people that came over, and because goes back to 1700, comes back this way,
well, a
and
lot
that's
of
who I
my
tend to be my cousins with. Go ahead.
my one German cousin is actually connected through a French ancestor.
Okay.
So it's kind of interesting in that way, in that
I
you can
wonder if they were
travel
close
your,
to the. I wonder if they're close to the French border. You
yeah,
get over to Strasbourg in that area, and the Alsace,
Yeah.
and that could be like going back and forth between French and German.
Yeah.
yeah,
And there's a
Yeah.
weird merger of the two languages at some point.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, no, most of my cousins tend to be Americanized, but I do have some German cousins. Like Oliver is my ninth cousin. He actively works on Germany project and helps out with the genies. Uh, I found a cousin here in Milwaukee who's my third cousin because I was working on the research in our side of the family, and we ran into each other in the parking lot of a pet store.
yeah. That's
So
cute.
that's for a German family that came to different parts of Wisconsin.
Yeah,
So it does happen, but yeah, it's not as much.
One of the
yeah,
things you were asking was about if you adopt an orphan
yeah,
profile, can you orphan it again? You can do. If you've done some research, it's always useful to put some research notes on there, though, even if you've drawn a blank with things. Because if you've researched somewhere and you haven't found something, it can be
Alright.
useful for the next researcher so they don't. And if you put a date on it as well, the way you can do it is when you've put your research note in, at the end, if you put 4 tilths, which I'll put in the chat here if you've access to the
That's going to
chat,
be
I'll put them
that right there, actually.
thing. Yeah, then that will if you put that in at the end where you've put your research note in, it'll put your ID and the time and date when you've actually put that on there. on it when you save it.
All
So
right.
you don't have to actually type it in, it'll do it automatically for you. And that is
I
always
adopted a Lawrence and I couldn't find anything for him at first. And then I found a bunch of stuff from England. So he might be an interesting person to research. So I didn't decide to unadopt him yet. But I at first I couldn't find anything for him, and he was not a relation as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
He
It
was
can
an
be
English.
difficult. Yeah, it can be difficult jumping that bit. I've actually just managed to jump from England to Canada because with a DNA connection that I've got. With the DNA connections, there were all these people in Canada that were matching with me, and I found the furthest back somebody got in Canada with it. But I managed to find, because I knew about the English side, I've managed to find how that English and that Canadian ones connect. So it's quite useful. Sometimes we can work together on, because we're working on a worldwide tree, we can work together and join things up. So yeah, if anything you find, it's always worth putting some notes there, or putting the note that you didn't find something where you thought you might be able to find something, because that can be just as useful. I mean, yeah. The records get updated. Sometimes people can't find it one week, and then somebody puts something online and you can find something. So you just don't know.
Yeah, those research notes sections really, I mean, they allow us to become more collaborative. That's a big reason.
If I'm going through birth records and things, and I have can I add to the records? To the updating the records on WikiTree, or just no?
As long as you put a source where you've got the information from. So obviously you need to source, if you're getting it from a source that's not an online one that you can't link to an online source, say a book or something, then obviously you need to just make sure that you write down where right in the sources where you got it from as best you can. Yeah, there are examples of sourcing, and I know we quite often say, WikiTree source is good for things that are online, but not everything is online. So as long as you put down enough information that somebody else could find that source, if it was a book, somebody else could find the book and the page number and everything, then that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we want to be able to verify the information. Otherwise, it's fiction.
Yeah, I know.
You were also asking about pre-1700. Pre-1700, you need to have been a member for a certain period of time. I think it's something like a month, and then you have to do the pre-1700. There's a pre-1700 quiz which you need to be able to answer, and that before you can qualify to be able to do the pre-1700, because we're a bit stricter on sourcing and things like that for any pre-1700 profiles. So I
keep getting back. I have a family of knobs from, where are they from? I think Oberseebach, and some of their kids are born pre-1700, and so I want to enter the family because I'm pretty sure I have the marriage and then all the children birth records. So, but some of the children were born pre-1700, so it's,
Yeah. You were also asking about a place study.
Yeah.
No, you said you wanted to do something, but it might be quite big. But you could start with a small place. I mean, people have started with really quite small things, or sometimes just a building or a street or a cemetery or something as a single place, at least to start with. If you think it's going to be overwhelming, start with a single bit. You can always build up. Probably best having a look at the projects and have a look at the one place project. Let me see if I can bring it up and share it.
Yeah, don't do what I did. I do counties. They don't qualify as one places.
Yeah, I've got a one place study, but it's for my village, and I'm not getting very far with it. I've got two. I've got one that I took from somebody else that set up as well, which is a place where a lot of my family were from, which makes sense. But doing my village one, Now trying to find the projects thing, and it's not where I thought it was.
I was finding all kind of Waldmans in Passat, Bavaria. And so I wanted to organize to try to figure out, well, like what kind of relation they were, cousins, or what were they to each other, you know, siblings, cousins,
So these
whatever.
would be the Waldman ancestors, right?
Yeah. And I was probably, I'm trying to organize it on paper, and it just turns into this, and I'm trying to do one
Maybe
group
it
at a
is
time.
spaghetti. Maybe there's a lot of endogamy in that part of the world.
Oh, they're definitely marrying each other.
Yeah, there's Prasov. There's Prasov. So they're all coming from the same village. Eventually, they're just going to look back in on themselves. But I thought the idea, at least my northern Germany ancestors, shopped to other villages to prevent endogamy. Like they brought their girls in, they sent the boys
Yeah,
out, and
like
then they
some
would
of
marry
the
from other villages, so it wouldn't.
Yeah, some of the women are like from Cham or something, or a neighboring town, Kotzting.
Okay, so
So
this is modern day Neustadt an der Waldnaab, Bavaria. Okay. The trick with this now, a lot of these birth dates are 1800, like 1801, 1804, 1814. Technically, Germany didn't exist at that time. So if
yes,
anything says Germany on it, I usually automatically change it to German Confederation or German Empire. Well, it depends on, if it's 1871, it was the German Empire. Germany proper, I mean, I guess you could call it that at that point, but I like to be specific with the place names and get those down.
yeah, I just joined the Germany project, so I was like going back and trying to figure out how to,
Yeah, I mean,
they're very strict, and they tell you they want you to do the correct, and I don't necessarily know the correct.
well, I mean, we have a lot of information on one of our Germany projects about the timing of names and how there's lots of little borders that change over the course of the 1800s. So,
Yeah.
in order for us to understand the location temporally, we want to make sure that the place name fields are accurate. So we don't want to put in Germany for something that was Holy Roman Empire, for example, because that would have been like pre-1806.
Are all those locations in the drop-down menu, or do you just add them?
Sometimes you have to override it. A lot of times those drop downs will try to force Germany, and that's a problem. So not a lot of the place names, have those updates built into them, but we've been trying to do more and more.
All right.
It's just because we got so many border changes. Go ahead.
Rita, we get our that drop down with all the locations in it. We get that from Family Search, and
Okay.
we're kind of unhappy with that.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that there's some work going on right now to make that better.
Family Search is funny. They have a lot, but I had one ancestor and her death record, and the transcriber they said she was age 90, but you look at the actual document and the transcriber said she was 99.
Yeah, there can be some issues with transcription. I mean, it's also a very clunky
I doubt she
system.
was 99, but
Yeah.
that doesn't add up to the other documents I have for her. But and that's kind of, but still, you got to be. Sometimes they're not quite right. Like
Yeah, I mean, but at least on WikiTree, what we can do is we can create a narrative on the profile in question and explain those problems. That's where the research notes come in again, because if you're seeing documents with different numbers on them, then you at least can talk about it. There's not really a place to talk about it on Family Search. You just have the sources, and they're there, and they're different categories. They're all lined up, and they may or may not even be attributed to the right person, because a lot of times people attach them thinking, oh, it's got to be this guy, and then you look at it and the data is just all goofy and it's not the same person, so then you have to detach it, right? But nobody can see on the outside that it says, oh, this is the wrong one, unless you actually delve into the reasons for disconnection. I think there is a thing you can do that, but you have to dig for it, right? So it's not like right there in the profile, and then people might accidentally add it again, which is frustrating. and then you go into sort of circle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're trying to break the system. I think there's a lot of bad genealogy out there, between, what might be running around Family Search and the ancestry trees that get copied over and everything. And then there's no sources attached to any of the data. So at the very least, we could try to attach a source to something, and that's, us doing our part of the deal, right?
Yeah. And that's the very good thing about them is they have ton of, you can view the primary documents. So, I mean, so if the transcribers made a mistake, you can find it.
Right. So at least we have images for some of them.
Yeah.
But not all of them do, unfortunately.
And plus my French isn't that good. So when I first read it, it was like the person, what was it? 99. And so that's 99, correct?
Yes.
Yeah,
you know your French better than I do.
And
Yes, that's 99.
Yeah. The place that you were interested in doing your possibly doing a one-place study in, where was it? Geographically?
Well, Oversea Bach was one of them. That's in the Bas-Rhin. And they have the good thing about Oversea Bach is they have documents online. And the France has a lot of documents online. There's gaps in the years. There's a lot of documents online. And then the other one, of course, was Prasat in Bavaria, is where all the
Pressath.
Yeah.
So you can have a look on this page, which you can get to from the One Place Studies project. It's it will tell you if there's some so it's got it down by countries as to where. So you were saying Bavaria. Now I'm trying to think. Austria? Yeah.
No, Germany. Bavaria.
Germany. Yeah. It's all right. My European geography is not brilliant.
It's not that far from Austria.
No, and it's near the Czech border.
Or okay, that's Czechoslovakia over there.
Yeah.
Czech Republic. Sorry, that's what the modern name is now.
Yeah.
See, Germany.
I know I had Prasad and I mean I was like, I don't know how I managed, but
because you could have a look and see if there's somebody doing anything already in that area. There might even be somebody doing something in a neighboring thing, which might give you some ideas. Yeah.
There's my Rebel One Place Study right there in Niedersachsen.
That one.
Yeah, that's mine, which I think needs some work.
Yeah. I mean, I've got two, one in England and one in Wales. Some of them have got, some projects have got a heck of a lot more on them than others. People start things and then they get sidetracked with other things and they only get so much done. So they're always a work in progress, aren't they?
Yeah. All right. Doing my one name study and going back and forth. Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a definitive thing, and you just work on it.
Look at this. These are my ancestors. These are my people, all in a nice little spot.
Yeah.
You can do this too.
Even if that's all you get done even if all you get done is you've got profiles for people that were born in that particular area or lived in that area, and it might even just be for a certain time period, at least initially, then it's all helps. It all helps you.
And actually, this is a good thing I wanted to point out too, because on this page, even though the place is the same, can you see the variation in the place names? How sometimes it goes from Holy Roman Empire or Heilige, Römisches Reich to, then it might say Deutsches Reich, or it might say Deutscher Bund, which, Deutsches Reich is the German Empire, Deutscher Bund is the German Confederation, and then there's another one that says Hanover, Prussia. So there's lots of time frames that are being represented here, and so the end of that same place is going to change.
Yeah, I have one relative, and that's from the Grand Duchy of something, Baden, blah, blah. Yeah.
Duchy of Baden?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and Baden used to be its own kingdom, and
Yeah,
also Württemberg used to be its own kingdom, and they merged in the 20th century to become the state of Baden-Württemberg, and that's the state that's just to the west of Bavaria.
yeah.
But if you see
Okay.
Baden, it's a very long, skinny thing that follows the Rhine River, and then Württemberg would have been the rest of the area to the east of it.
Yeah.
So we do have to define exactly where the person is when it's the time for that kingdom to exist, or
All
whatever
right.
it was.
I like go clean up my place. I was cleaning up my site this week because when I started out, or I mean, I think I've been on 3 months now, but I was importing as not as a definitive source, but I was, going to find a grave and importing the memorial, and you're
Okay.
just supposed to do the link and put what information in the memorial in the text, right? So
Well,
I'm going through and cleaning up and I'm like, oh, I made a mess,
so the thing about Find a Grave is that it's a clue. The
Yeah,
only thing that I would cite Find a Grave for is the grave location. The information that's on there should be attached to birth records, death records, etc.
yeah,
So you can still use Find a Grave as a source, but it has to be very specific as to what we're getting the data from, and it's the burial in this case.
yeah,
And I usually go to the page, I go to the bottom, and I highlight that uh, citation instead of using like Find a Grave Index on Family Search, because that doesn't specify like the burial location or the plot, or who's owning who's managing the profile. All that other data is actually on the physical page itself. So
yeah,
usually copying and pasting that is what I do for the burial stuff.
yeah.
But of course, yeah, it does give you sometimes little clues. Sometimes people put documents on there. You can't really copy those documents and use them, but if you can find them somewhere else, then you can cite that location.
Well, that's the thing. So a lot of the graves of
Yeah,
my Minnesota ancestors,
right.
a lot of them are linked. And they're recent enough ancestors
Hmm.
that I know that it's right, because I might have met them, or my dad met them, or my mom met them, right?
Yeah, but then somebody
So
else might not, coming on.
somebody else might not, but
Hmm.
still, it's like, um, so that part of it
Hmm.
was kind of reinforcing, let's say,
Yeah,
right? So I might have a ton of census records on people. And then if I have all that information, but not all the children are listed, sometimes they're the siblings. And so that you can't really think, oh, definitely that tells you everything, because it doesn't. But a lot of times they'll have the obituary or
yeah,
something, and that can tell you.
right,
You know,
right. Yeah.
you were talking about free space pages. Have you
Yeah.
used a free space page at all for anything yet, Rita?
No, I was wondering about it, because I was thinking of doing like for the family that I have, like only like one source for each person. I was thinking of doing like on a, but it says not to, it doesn't say, that isn't what a free space is for. Like trying to put together, before you actually create a profile, put something together, or what, I don't know. Anyway,
Oh,
All
I
right,
wonder
let's
if
look at Sham that you were talking about too.
yeah. I'm just thinking the wiki browser extension, doesn't that have a workspace or something that would be useful? Don't you have to
really,
have that? I'm
Mhm.
just trying to think. So that's basically what you want. You want a workspace, but
yeah,
free space pages are great for things like if you want to transcribe a will or something like that, and you want to, and if it's a long will, you don't want it all on that one profile. You want to just put a link to the will so that somebody can go to the will and read it if they need to, and you
all
just
right.
put the transcription. I've used free space pages for that. The projects and things you do use the free space pages quite a lot, but there are different types of free space page.
Yeah.
Yes, and Rita, you can create a free space page and call it Rita Lawrence's workspace. And you can make that free space page private. And then you can do whatever you want in there. And when you feel like you've got what you want, you copy it into the page that you want to put it in.
Okay.
Denise, did you have something to say?
Well, Murray beat me to it.
Oh. Yeah, I know. I noticed you raised your hand, so yeah, yeah. I mean, the free space pages are very flexible. They're used for lots of things. Categories are always useful to use as well. Once you get to know what the categories are, they can be very useful. And you're trying to group things because you can actually have personal. I'm sure you can have personal categories, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah, personal categories. I use them.
You can have personal categories?
Yeah, let me show you an example of mine. I could screen share. Hold on. Oh, I just closed the thing I didn't want to close. Here, yeah, I'll just go to my profile. Can I share?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and can you see that?
There we go. You're on a blank page. Yeah.
Yeah, main page right now. So I'm just gonna go to my profile here, because this is the fastest way for me to find my personal category, and I'll link to where you can then hook them up. So this is me. I'm gonna go really fast here. Don't look. Okay. So at the very bottom, I have categorized my profile with my profile ID. So Greenwood-3367. This is the parent category that hosts all of my subcategories. So if I'm working on profiles that need like parents, I'll put them in, needs profiles created, and then within that, I can get a little bit more specific, and I'll specify, well, this one needs parents, this one needs children, this one needs spouses. I'm doing such a great job with them, can't you see? I didn't had nearly enough people during Connectathon, but for a rainy day, these things are in place. And then anybody else that needs like just all the different, if they need additional profiles in all directions, so parents and children, spouse, then they end up in here, and they're just like the really old ones here because we're dealing with 1600 Germany. There's some 1800 Nebraska hiding in here. So I kind of nest, back to the main personal category here, the parent category. There's also things where I might need to add cemeteries. I define where all my brick wall ancestors are. Let's see what's hiding over here. Yeah, things that might need a surname, things that are possible relatives. So I put them in a category I can keep track of them and come back later because I do get pulled aside on rabbit holes quite a bit. And then, all my fun pages. All these are a mixture of one name studies and one place studies and other things of interest that I'm kind of working on. So I'm kind of all over the place. But one of them is a county in Germany. One of them is a county in Wisconsin. One of them is about an invasion of frogs and hit a little town in 1952, just because I wanted to write up on that event that happened. And so in order to get to this from other places, so there's a category called personal categories. So you want to nest this within that by putting personal categories, on the text of this page. And then that will show you all the other people across WikiTree, about 1,000 people here, who also have their own personal categories. And you can click on them and you can see all the things that they have categorized, so they can keep up with all of their stuff. So I find these incredibly helpful and useful. Some of these I'm
on there. There I am.
Is that you?
Yeah, that 152 is me.
That's why it was in purple. It was already clicked on before. And then there's Hillary's to-do list. Yeah. So there's 225 people on this list.
Of which I've probably worked on and just haven't removed the category from, but at least they were. I a very big GEDCOM, so I've got people that I'm no longer the profile manager for, but people that I want to go back and perhaps look at.
I mean, yeah, it's just easy to forget a lot of things. So this is a great way to keep up with like a super big number of profiles, especially if it's a rainy day and you're just going to say, okay, I'm going to go for the B's today, and I'm going to try to get all of those cleaned up, and then go to the C's the next day.
Yeah.
I can see a lot of overlapping places here for some of these names.
That would be really helpful because if you're trying to clean up your profiles, that would be helpful to be able to keep track of what ones you've already done.
Right. I mean, there's no one set way to do it. Like I was showing, Hillary just has one subcategory and nothing else. So that's just all one category for her to do her work in, and then mine is more nested. Mine branches out in different directions, so I can keep track of all that. Plus, again, I have all those space pages, so I want to make sure I have access to all of them. And if anything would ever happen to me, well, then somebody else can come along, and at least they can better manage all the things that I was looking at.
Yeah.
Another cousin can come along, another team member. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, and I can get out of screen share now.
Yeah.
It's WikiTree is very flexible. I use it to help me with my own genealogy and things, because you've only got one profile per person.
Yeah.
So if you use that WikiTree ID, and it's that if you've created that mine were quite early on, but once that's been created and you've checked for all anybody you want to merge with early on that may already been on the tree, once you've done that properly, then that one WikiTree ID is going to stay with them, because if anybody merges, they should merge it into yours rather than you merge into one which has got a bigger number. So you can use that as an ID for that. And I mean, I've got a one name study on WikiTree, and that's also my one name study that's registered with the Guild of One Name Studies. And there's a lot of people in there, and I'm working on it. And I find that it's very useful to link their profiles either way, so that I can see what I've put on WikiTree, and I can either add it into my own program, or I can add things from my own program into WikiTree, one or the other. So yeah. Have we answered all your questions?
Yeah, thanks.
Somebody else got a question.
Yeah, I know. Every time I get to a different, yeah. And of course it's quite I don't want to it's a lot to take in. It's
quite overwhelming when you first can be quite overwhelming first join. I mean, I joined very early on. I didn't actually get a chance to introduce myself to anybody that hadn't been on one of these before. I've been on WikiTree since 2011, and I've been a greeter since about 2014, maybe even before that. I've not been a greeter all the way through that. I did take a break for a bit, but I've been a greeter, and I still am a greeter. So I quite often meet people as they come in the door, if you know what I mean. And I'm also one of the mentors as well. So I'm quite happy to help people, because sometimes people add a GEDCOM and they get stuck. We've done things on one of these new member Zooms about GEDCOMs. If you haven't brought things in via a GEDCOM, how about cleaning them up and things. So that's certainly, sometimes people don't realize until they've already added things that they probably didn't want to bring the GEDCOM in, particularly now that we've got other tools to bring people in. Really better.
I know I think my sister, my dad did a lot of work on Ancestry, but I haven't tried importing it. I just do one thing at a time, or one thing at a time. I do like family group at a time. And then I think the connections thing is really helpful, because suddenly, you find one ancestor and they're in somebody else's tree, and you connect them, and suddenly you have boom, a whole bunch more ancestors, and that's very helpful.
Right. I mean, we'll look at it differently. Again, Ancestry would like to compare trees as separate things, and we all know that everybody is together, right? We all know that we're all part of one world tree, and these are just the different branches that are finally touching each other.
Yeah.
So I think WikiTree's display of showing those interconnected branches is better, especially when you have a connection finder and you can see the pathway, from one side to the other. But it's a lot to train people to get off the idea of tree, because at the end they're all interconnected.
Yeah, and the trouble is as well, you have things like Ancestry. They think that you know full well you're related to somebody, but Ancestry won't show you related to that person because between you've got slightly different dates on things. Whereas on WikiTree, we can show those dates. We can show that the fact that one census said one thing and another census said another thing, but then the actual birth record said this. So the birth record, which is the closest to your birth, is going to be more likely to be right than all these census records that were years later. But it depends. Some people just find somebody on one record and assume that that's right. Which is, But the WikiTree sourcer, which is an extension, that can be very helpful. But certainly, if you're first in, it's useful to know how to do the profiles from scratch, and then WikiTree sourcer can help you if you want to bring things in from another website. At the moment, certainly Family Search and Ancestry trees both can. You can bring individuals in from there and they'll pull the sources in with it. But the one thing caveat I would say is you do have to be careful and make sure that the sources that you're bringing in are correct. Connectathon, I was bringing people in. If I wasn't happy with the source, I just got rid of that particular source and just added the ones that I was happy with. I think, you do need to, unless you've put all those sources on there yourself and you're happy with them, then you do need to be careful. It is people joining WikiTree. It can be just a useful thing to actually start from scratch again and go through your research, because you may have made a mistake in the past, which you now got that opportunity to correct as well. And like you say, Rita, I was finding during the Connectathon the other week that there were people that were on WikiTree that I was about to add, and they were already there. And
I was going to say that too.
I added well over 100 profiles to my CC7 over that weekend, and I only added a couple of hundred profiles, and some of them weren't in my CC7. So that some of that's got added because I connected up with somebody that was already there.
Yeah.
It's just reaching out and touching an existing profile.
That's another thing I wanted to ask about is if you end up with duplicates with somebody, but you don't hear back from them. And so there's a couple people that I haven't heard back from that I said, these are duplicates, and they're nice duplicates because they're people I have like maybe siblings or children for, and the other person has siblings or children. Like I have the siblings and they have the children or something,
Yeah, they have the parents and you have the children.
Yeah, and they're actually kind of nice matches, but I haven't heard back from the other person.
Well, how long has it been since you sent the message?
Well, I think for one of them it's been over a month since I sent my first message. The
That
other
would
one
qualify for override. Yeah.
Right. We've got an unresponsive profile manager.
The one person hasn't posted for a few years, and so I read about unresponsive people who, and they might be dead. They might have.
That's very possible.
Possible. They were an elder person when they joined WikiTree, and they wanted to try and just get their stuff online.
Yeah.
And they could have quite well, or they could have just they're just not interested after all.
You could always search for an obituary and see if that actually did happen. Do genealogical research on them.
Yeah.
And that would be your answer.
Yeah.
And then their profile would need to get converted to, you know, a different privacy setting if they were actually deceased, and there's a process for that, of course. But then then the management would shift to whoever was requesting it. It would
So
either
who do you apply for an override to?
that would be for the unresponsive profile manager page.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you have
just
to go through
follow
that
the process. Yeah, just follow the process and do all the things.
Or is
Do what you can, or what you can as a single thing, like sending a message to them and posting a comment and this sort of thing. I think there's about 3 things you need to do. And if you don't get anywhere, then the team can put you. You know, they can look at it. They can send a message to the profile manager,
linking it.
and if they don't hear back from them, then they will, after a period, they will open it up and let you carry on and do a merge and that sort of thing. Then
Yeah.
I've just linked it in the chat to that page, which it's a help page.
Yeah. As I say, if you wanted to merge it and it was more than a month or 30 days ago, you'd be able to merge it anyway. I think
The merge proposal would be approved by
somebody
default.
somebody else will merge it for you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but it does default after 1 month. If you have a merge in and nothing happens, then it's approved by default.
Okay, so then it hasn't been a month and I should just, okay.
Right. But then, yeah, there's other things. If you just want to edit the profile, then you have to make sure you're, sending a trusted list request, sending them a direct email message, maybe post a comment in their profile. And if they don't respond to that, it could be that they passed away or there's some other issue. And then, there's more things to follow up on. So just, read through that page there.
Is there anything anybody else wants to before we wind up for the day?
Yeah. I know I'd had all the questions today. Wow.
Well, I think so. Anne's certainly been with us for quite a while, and Denise has been with us before, and I think Sue has. I'm not sure about Amanda and Rick, but we get a few people come to most of it is a few of these, but yeah, if nobody else has got any burning questions or anything,
I can run off the German fest.
yeah.
We actually do have an annual German celebration here in Milwaukee. So there's the thing downtown. I can go, I can eat schnitzel, I can talk to people about German genealogy. And, that's today.
Yeah.
So find events like that.
Yeah, shall we just leave it at this then? And I'll stop the recording.
Okay.
Thank you.